An object from interstellar space is doing something that should be impossible. The Three-Eye Atlas has a tail pointing toward the solar center, defying all the laws of physics we know. And now, for the first time in history, NASA has activated planetary defense protocols for an interstellar visitor. Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard is no longer speculating. He's saying it directly. This could be alien technology. And on October 29th, when this object reaches perihelion, we'll discover the truth. But here's what nobody is talking about. During all this time, space agencies around the world are collecting data and maintaining absolute silence. Why? The impossible phenomenon. Let's understand why this is so disturbing. Normal comets work like this. The solar center heats the icy nucleus. Material evaporates. Solar wind pushes this material away from the solar center, forming the tail. It's basic physics we've known for centuries. The Three-Eye Atlas was doing exactly the opposite. Its tail was pointing toward the solar center, as if being pushed against the solar wind. It's like seeing a car driving forward with exhaust smoke coming out the front. Avi Loeb was intrigued and tried to explain this in 2 scientific papers, but admitted it's not a simple explanation because we don't know if there's dust around this object. 2 scientific papers and he still couldn't explain it. Then in September, something even more extraordinary happened. The tail simply reversed out of nowhere. Within days, it began behaving like a normal tail, pointing away from the solar center, as if someone had flipped a switch and changed the operating mode. Images from the Nordic Optical Telescope documented this impossible transition. You can see the evolution, anti-tail in July, persisting in August, and suddenly turning into a normal tail in September, terrifying size and anomalous composition. But the story gets even more frightening when we look at the numbers. Avi Loeb calculated something that completely changed our perspective on this object. He declared, even more alarming is its size. The fact that it's at least 1,000, maybe even 1,000,000 times more massive than previous interstellar objects, the first and second ones. To put this in perspective, Oumuamua was about 100 meters. The Three-Eye Atlas is kilometers in length. It's like comparing an ant to an elephant. We're not talking about a small difference. It's a difference that screams something is fundamentally wrong here. And when the James Webb Telescope analyzed its composition, the results were bizarre. 87% carbon dioxide, 9% carbon monoxide, only 4% water. Typical comets are mainly water ice with dust, dirty snowballs, as scientists usually say. But this looks more like the composition of a chemical propulsion system than a natural comet. The moment of truth, October 29th. Here comes the part that should make all of us lose sleep. Avi Loeb identified a specific moment that could change human history. He explained this is the best point to have a maneuver to use an engine that would give impulse to the object in the direction of its movement. In this case, it would gain kinetic energy or do the reverse. In this case, the object would brake and maybe even release some mini-probes toward the planets if it's technological. October 29th, perihelion, the closest point to the solar center. If this object contains alien technology, this is the exact moment an advanced civilization would use to perform gravitational maneuvers. And here's the most disturbing part. At this exact moment, the object is in our blind spot, hidden behind the solar center. We can't observe it from Earth. What convenient timing for a craft that doesn't want to be observed during critical maneuvers. If the Three-Eye Atlas accelerates, decelerates, or releases smaller objects on October 29th, we'll only find out weeks later, when it emerges from the other side of the solar center. This object's trajectory defies all statistical probabilities. Avi Loeb made an observation that should put us all on alert. He said the most intriguing aspect of this object is that its trajectory is in the plane of the planets, and it's coming quite close to 3 planets, Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. And this suggests perhaps it has some purpose. Purpose, he used the word purpose. The probability of a random object from interstellar space following exactly the ecliptic plane where all planets orbit is 1 in 500, but passing close to 3 specific planets, Mars, where we have rovers and orbiters, Venus, our closest neighbor, and Jupiter, the gas giant that dominates the outer solar system, the odds become astronomically remote. It's exactly the route a reconnaissance mission would follow, visiting the strategic points of interest in our solar system. Here, the situation becomes truly sinister. When you have potential evidence of the most important discovery in human history, what do? Share it with the world, right? Wrong, apparently you hide everything. Avi Loeb is being blocked from accessing crucial data. He revealed, "We're still waiting for the high-resolution camera aboard the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter because of the NASA shutdown. We haven't had access to this data. It should be the best resolution image, 3 times better in pixel resolution than the Hubble Space Telescope image we had. Government shutdown for comet data? Scientific data doesn't stop for political issues. Never, unless this data is considered too sensitive for public release. And there's more. For the first time in history, NASA activated planetary defense protocols for an interstellar object. These protocols were created for asteroids on collision course with Earth. The 3I Atlas is leaving the solar system. Why activate planetary defense for something that poses no impact risk? The answer is obvious. They're not worried about collision. They're worried about what this object might do. Avi Loeb isn't just theorizing. He's actively looking for evidence of alien technology and has access to the equipment to do it. He revealed, "We have the Juno spacecraft. I spoke with the principal investigator of Juno, Scott Bolton, and he told me they'll use their radio antenna to also look for any radio emission from this object. And, of course, if we detect any, that would be a technological signature as well." The Juno spacecraft, positioned near Jupiter, is literally pointing its antennas at the 3I Atlas, looking for transmissions, looking for signs that this is a machine transmitting data. Imagine the implications if they detect something. If this object is sending information somewhere in interstellar space, information about what? About us? About our solar system, about our technology? And where would these transmissions be going? To whom? The International Asteroid Warning Network also launched an unprecedented campaign. Avi Loeb explained it will establish a campaign coordinating observations from around the globe, trying to get as much data as possible about the movement of this object. Observatories worldwide have been mobilized, global astronomical resources redirected. This has never happened for an interstellar object. Never. When you analyze the complete temporal sequence, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. July 2025. 3I Atlas develops an impossible anti-tail pointing toward the solar center, contradicting all known physical laws. The anti-tail persists. Scientists try to explain, fail, abrupt transition. The tail reverses instantly as if a system had been activated. Object enters solar blind spot. Perfect timing to avoid observation. October 29th, perihelion. Theoretically ideal moment for gravitational maneuvers. November-December. Emergence from blind spot, moment of truth. December 19th. Maximum approach to Earth. Each event happens at the exact moment an alien reconnaissance mission would execute. The precision is frightening. And during this entire period, worldwide space agencies have intensified monitoring, but maintained silence about their discoveries. China, the United States, Europe, Japan, all collecting data, all silent. Avi Loeb identified December as the period that could define humanity's future. He declared that during December, on December 19th, it will come closest to Earth, and this will be a week before Christmas. We could receive the gift of seeing the best image of it from Earth. December 19th, 1 week before Christmas. What kind of gift would that be? Confirmation that we're not alone in the universe. Here's what makes December so crucial. Any activity the 3I Atlas executes during October's perihelion will only be detectable when it emerges from the solar blind spot in December. If the object accelerates, decelerates, changes trajectory, or releases smaller objects in October, we'll only find out in December. It's like watching a movie 2 months late, but a movie that could change human history. Imagine the scenario. Christmas Eve, families gathered, and suddenly NASA makes an announcement. We confirm technological activity in the 3I Atlas object. We are not alone. It would be the biggest plot twist in human history.